Hello peeps, this is your favorite speedster here. In today's video we're going to be talking about XDefiant, specifically the open beta that occurred 2 weeks ago I believe. And I'm going to be mostly doing in this video giving you my input of what I thought of the game, what I think they can do right, things they did wrong, what they need to improve, and so on and so forth. And most likely I'm going to be splitting this up into 4 sections for this video. The first section is going to be the pros, second section is going to be the meh section where I think things that are like good but I don't mind if they removed. Then there's the con section, and last but not least there's the wish list section where I think of things that could be implemented into the game or incorporated that wouldn't really hurt the game as much, or just ideas in general. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, first off is the pro section. First thing within the pro section is the new and improved minimap. Now, the minimap still functions the same as classic Call of Duty, where there's still red dots when a person shoots and everything, but the thing different with this minimap is it's kind of a proximity map where you have these indicators that detect if you have a teammate or enemy near you. The red indicator detects an enemy and the blue indicator detects a friendly. So I kind of like that little gimmick that they added within the minimap portion, as it kind of speeds up where enemies are and makes the game more fast-paced. So that's a good incorporation, and you can make your minimap locked or unlocked, which I don't know why that's a thing, but hey, whatever your playstyle is, doesn't matter to me. Then the next thing in the pro section is the practice range. Now unfortunately I do not have footage of the practice range within XDefiant during the open beta, and I forgot to record that portion, but it is what it is. But basically, the big scheme of things, the practice range functions as your regular practice range, but it has some cool little aspects in it. You know, you have your basically testing your gun, shooting it targets and see how accurate your gun is. And you can also have a recoil test where you can test your recoil, your sway of your weapon, and adjust if need be. And you can also have a little movement little section within the practice range where you can practice your movement set and while shooting, vaulting, all that good stuff. So when you get into a public match, you could basically have already your movement adjusted, your guns already adjusted, no recoil, basically the whole 9 yards when it comes to this game. So the practice range is a good implementation within the beta so far, and I'm glad to see it coming to the full launch of the game, and I hope they keep updating it to make it, to basically perfect it in the big scheme of things. Next up is the weapon customization. Now everything was mostly unlocked in the open beta, but I like the options of customization that you can like play around with your gun and see what fits best. And of course there's going to be a weapon progression system when the game fully launches, but I love in the beta that it gives you the options to play around, and you have I think 7 attachment slots, but you can only pick 5, giving you like that similar pick 10 system of like old COD, but like giving it something a little different. And it also gives you like the stats of like if your gun has more firepower, mobility, and all that. Basically the little new aspect of what they incorporated in COD Modern Warfare 2019. So it gives you both the old and the new in terms of like weapon customization. So I very much appreciate, you know, this new twist of how it's going to work. And the weapon selection is very, very cool. You know, you got the classics like the AK-47, P90, all these guns coming to this game as well. So if you have your favorite gun of like what you like in like old COD or something new that's in the new COD, it's most likely going to be within this game. So that's a good thing to see, and I'm very curious of like what they're going to do with this when the full game launches. As I heard, there's going to be a camo grind, camo challenges, you know, stuff like that coming to the game. So that's going to be very good to see. And hopefully it's not going to be as ridiculous as what Call of Duty tried to do with like mounting and like long shots and all that stuff. But if it is what it is. Now the next thing within the pro section is the maps, and I am a big fan of these maps so far, and I love how there are little callbacks to, you know, older Ubisoft games such as Watch Dogs, Far Cry, you know, what else, The Division. Just I love how they like give little callbacks to those series, but give it a, you know, a little 6v6 new twist on them. And I like how they're vibrant. You know, they give a lot of detail, give you a lot of cover. They get a good flow to them. You know, some a little bigger than others, but they're mostly manageable within this game. And hopefully I get to see. There's going to be more maps coming within the launch of the game, along with the new rope map that's coming. That was announced, I think, a few days ago. So yeah, the map assortment is pretty good so far. For what we got in the beta, I know there was like other maps that were testing in the alpha as well that I didn't get to play on as well, but so far the maps are pretty good, pretty vibrant, got a good flow, and it's a good thing to see. And these maps low-key remind me of BO3 and BO4 in terms of how vibrant they are, how the settings and how much they got good flow to them. This whole like game in general reminds me of like Black Ops 4 in terms of like the health bar, the movement, the gunplay, all of that. It gives me those like Black Ops 4 vibes. But yeah, the maps are very, very good in my opinion, and I'm hoping they expand more with these maps, so that's a nice thing to see within this beta review. Now with the maps comes map voting, which I am glad they brought back. I know many people touched upon that in the alpha, but for those who don't know, map voting is back in XDefiant. No more having to sit through, you know, maps that you don't want to play, and you have the option to choose which map you want to play. So thank God Mark Rubin, who is the executive producer, brought this back, and it's a good aspect to bring back, so thank you for that. And there's also no disbanding lobbies, so if you guys want to, like, you know, have beef with any players, you want to like challenge them again in the game, you could have the option to, you know, not have you basically stay in the same lobby in a sense. So I'm glad that these aspects are back. And now the final point within the pro section is there is no skill-based matchmaking. Yes, you heard that right, there is no skill-based matchmaking, particularly in casual play. Now there will be skill-based matchmaking in ranked play, and that's going to be launching with the game. So if you guys still want the challenge of, you know, testing other people's skill sets, you know what I'm saying, just want the challenge in general, you can go and do that in ranked play. But in terms of casual play, there's going to be no major skill-based matchmaking that you have to deal with. So you can have a free flowing fun experience with your friends without having to deal with the sweat every other game. So be thankful for that. Now as I'm making this video, Mark Rubin, like I said before, who is the exec producer of this game, said there's going to be a little bit of a balancing with teams. So it's going to be like probably like a little bit of skill-based matchmaking implemented, but it's not going to be a major benefactor in other games like Call of Duty, Destiny, Apex, whatever. So don't basically have to worry about that. And it makes sense because if you look back at other games like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 and all that stuff, all those games, they had a little bit of a skill-based matchmaking implemented to them, but they wasn't to a detriment. So again, you guys can have a free-flowing experience without having to, you know, worry about getting mad every 5 seconds because of skill-based matchmaking. So that's a good news for this game. Now we move on to the meh section of this video, which is basically things that I think are alright, but I don't mind if they remove them entirely. And I think the only thing that I have a meh with is the specialist ability, excuse me. I like the incorporation of like specialists, you know, different, you know, specialist factions such as like the Ghost from Ghost Recon, you know, the faction from Far Cry, DedSec from Watch Dogs. I like the aspects of those being implemented, but in terms of the abilities, they're fine in my opinion, but I wouldn't go out of my way to use them for the most part, and especially some of like the factions where there's some of their abilities just don't really transpire into gameplay, and they're kind of weak in my opinion. So I don't know if they're still like tweaking the abilities when it comes to that, and honestly I wouldn't mind if they like got rid of that entirely. But if they keep it in the game, hopefully they'll make some like meaningful tweaks for the specialist abilities so they can be more impactful into the game, and hopefully they'll like add new specialist abilities. If they start to go that route, that'll like make the gameplay more fun and enjoyable in my opinion. But yeah, in terms of the meh section, it's just really the specialist abilities. Again, if they get rid of it, I'll be glad. If they don't, hopefully they'll make meaningful tweaks to it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the cons section. Now, the first up within the cons section is the netcode / the frame rate drops. And I've been noticing this in some games where I'll be like moving fine and stuff, but then some reason the frames drop and then the netcode kicks in, so then I can't really, get into a nice gunfight with another person, as like the hit registration starts to dwindle thanks to the netcode, and then my bullets just basically turn to rubber, which basically coincides with the next point that I'm about to talk about, which is the gunfights. The gunfights are kind of weird in this game. As like I said before, with the netcode as well, when I start shooting enemies, basically dumping a whole clip into them, the bullets just don't apparently just register, and the enemy is able to like 1-2 tap me with like bullets, and it's just kind of inconsistent. The gunfights are really inconsistent in this game. Hopefully they get fixed, but yeah, it's just those 2 points in terms of the cons are really the ones that stick out the most, as I just hate having to deal with a gunfight that just is mad unfair. And I know many people who have experienced this, as well, as this was a big issue within the open beta, just the beta in general. Because I've heard this in like the closed beta, the alpha, but I've heard they fixed that a little bit, but it's still a big issue within this beta review. So hopefully the people at Ubisoft will get that fixed in no time, or else it's going to be a major problem within the launch of the game, and it's going to really turn people away from this game. So yeah, that's basically my 2 biggest problems within this open beta so far. And the next one, I think this might be the last one for this video, is the movement. The movement is kind of janky at times, as at one point it feels nice, and the slides are nice, the jumping is cool, but then other times it gets janky, inconsistent. I think this might be also due to the netcode as well, the frame drops. But yeah, the movement kind of feels janky at times, and I wish they would make this more fluid. If they can make it like more fluid of like how it was in like old Call of Duty games, then this game, in my opinion, I will be sold on this game entirely. But so far, in terms of the movement, it's kind of a little janky, it's kind of a little inconsistent, feels weird every time you move sometimes, and I just hope they really fix that as well. But yeah, those are pretty much the cons for this game so far in terms of the beta. I'm pretty sure these are going to get fixed within the full launch, but if they don't, it's going to majorly be an issue for players in terms of gameplay. Now we come to the final section of the video, which is the wishlist section, and then after this I'll get to my closing thoughts of the whole beta and what I'm looking forward to in the game. But for right now, these are things that I wish they were in the full game. And first up is the ideas of factions / teams. It's basically similar as how like Call of Duty did it with like Rangers, Inner Circle, what else? Mercenaries, SEAL Team 6, I think that's what it's called. Teams and factions like that. They already have the idea for in terms of the specialists, as we already got like DedSec, what else? Sorry, I'm blanking right now. Far Cry, the team from Far Cry, Ghost team from Ghost Recon. They already got the idea in terms of the specialists, but if they can like make separate teams in like different maps, as like you could put Watch Dogs against like DedSec against the Freedom Fighters from Far Cry, or Ghosts against the Division, what's they're called, the one specialist team from the Division. Get them against those. You can have like different factions and teams going against certain other faction teams in like specific maps. So hopefully they'll incorporate something like that, as I think that would be like a cool little dynamic that they can introduce, as an ode to like other FPS games like COD. So I think that would be a good idea. The next thing for the wish list is the introduction of kill streaks or score streaks. As to be honest, and I've been thinking about this for a little bit, is it would be a good implementation to add kill streaks or score streaks into a game like this. As you know, it already has like the flow of something, like I said, like a game like Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3. So adding kill streaks into this might also speed up the pace of like certain games and make it more interesting. It's something to like grind for as a way of like a reward system mid like battle, mid game. So I think a good adding some kill streaks or score streaks might be an interesting idea for this game, and hopefully they'll incorporate something like that in the game. Now the next thing for the wish list is adding a community playlist. And I know this might be a little bit of a stretch, but adding something like a community playlist might be interesting for a game like this. You can add little fun party games into like a community playlist, or certain cool fun little game modes, like I guess Drop Zone or something like that, something like Drop Zone or something like, I don't know, Michael Myers or something. I feel a fun little community playlist might be very interesting in a game like this. Like, yeah, it'll be an interesting concept, basically. So if they add that in the game, that would be really, really, cool to see. And then, last but not least, within the wish list section is, please add a theater mode to this game. This game would benefit heavily from a theater mode. If they add a theater mode in this game, imagine the amount of content that content creators like me can like do with this game. It'll be off the hook. I'm telling you, if they add a theater mode in a game like this, it will be a very interesting sight to see. Now it might, I guess, cost to make something like that, but still, if they are able to do it, I would say go all in and do it. There would be so many opportunities for content creators to like benefit from a theater mode in general, and sharing with the community of like clips, photos, customize it, just the whole thing. Just add a theater mode to this game. I'm telling you, it'll be a great value. Alright, so here are my closing thoughts for the whole beta and the future of this game. So far for the beta, I liked the beta. The beta was pretty cool. The beta was something new, something fresh, as a game as XDefiant is in its current state. Sure, there's a little bit of problems with the game, as mostly there is with betas. But yeah, for the most part, I had a fun experience. It gave me something really, new to do, to invest in, to grind for, which is why I'm like mostly excited that XDefiant is going to be, for one, free to play, as a lot of people can get access to it and have, enjoy the experience of this game and what it has to offer. And it gives me something to really, invest in again, since I haven't been on the FPS scene in a minute. And so a game like this might get me back into, the arcade shooter scene again. So that's a really good thing to see. Hopefully, like I said again, they'll get things like the netcode, the frame rates, the movement, gunfights, all of that controlled, as again, that could be a big deterrent for what draws people away from this game. So hopefully those get fixed. And in terms, like I said, of the specialist abilities and the whole thing of that, it's a good idea in concept, but just need to tweak a little bit more on the abilities, and again, possibly add, faction teams in the midst. So yeah. Now the big question that like everybody is like posing when it comes to this game is this the Call of Duty killer? In my opinion, here's what I think of that. It has the potential to kill a game like Modern Warfare 2, the current iteration of Modern Warfare 2, as that game in its state right now is kind of lackluster, and this game might have the potential to, kill off what that game is. Now I know there's a announcement that there's a new Call of Duty coming that's expanding on the game, and it might prove me wrong. It might, beat a game like XDefiant, but in terms of like COD killer, it has the potential to beat a game like that, but it does not have the potential at all to, kill a franchise like Call of Duty. As Call of Duty as a franchise, it's much bigger than any other FPS game, and the only thing that can kill Call of Duty as a franchise is itself. You know what I'm saying? We're starting to see people being dissuaded to play the game right now, as like the player count is starting to dwindle a bit. You know, so yeah, in terms of it being a COD killer, it can kill. It has the potential of killing the game like COD MW2, but not as a whole for Call of Duty. So that's my honest thoughts of like what it is to be a COD killer in a sense. And yeah, that's my overall thoughts. XDefiant, in my opinion, has the potential to be better than what arcade shooters do nowadays. It has the real potential to be something better. Just hopefully they'll stay on a good trajectory and listen to listen to feedback of the players in the community. And yeah, dude, it could be one of the top 3 games for the next few years if they do things right. So I have a lot of investment in this game. I have a lot of, I want this game to succeed in the best scheme. So yeah, well, thank you guys for tuning into the video. Again, I haven't done a video like this, a review video like this in a minute, and I know you guys been looking forward to more of these videos, and I'm going to be planning on doing more of these videos later on within my channel. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to give you my thoughts of like what I think of the game, the beta so far, and how the game's going to be when it fully launches, as I'm really excited to play this game. And I'm probably going to have more XDefiant videos coming for you guys once it fully launches, as again, it's a free-to-play game. Anybody can access it. I think it's free right now for PC and PlayStation. I don't know about Xbox, but yeah, very much looking forward to this game. But yeah, without further ado, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Do you guys really think this is a COD killer game? You think it's going to be better? It's going to be worse? It has the potential to be a top 3 arcade shooter game. Just let me know in the comments and let me know what you think. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Gotta choose.